What miracle were they looking for? They saw dangerous dimensions of God. But at the slightest opportunity, they bowed to Baal. They committed adultery with Ashtaroth. A young man looked at me and said, "Sir, I should have left this job by now." Where he was working was nothing to write home about. I used to be on the field, offshore. And you will see people with master's degree. They come to the field as helpers because no work. A helper is the one that digs the ground with masters. That's the kind of job the boy was doing. Cleaner or something like that. And they gave him a job. And they say, all you need to do is change your age, your date of birth. Because this thing is for so and so class of people. And the guy came to me, he said, "Sir, in as much as I'm hungry, I can't do this thing. I can't do this thing." What was Satan trying to do? Trying to get someone on his side that he could use in his own warfare. I found out something. Once you are willing to cross the line once, you will cross it again. That's how some of you began. Just a careless glance. Just a careless conversation. And now you have to keep doing things to cover your tracks. So instead of Jesus to be gaining profit from your life, you are wearing the garb of a Christian, but you are advancing the agenda of darkness. Anybody who looked at it will say, these guys are fighting God's fight. They wore the garb of the righteous one, but underneath, Satan was pulling their strings as a master puppeteer, using them to advance his own agenda. This one I will not do, but this one, because there's some benefit I am getting, I will engage. I'll engage. This is why it looks as if the kingdom of hell has warriors. And yet, God is looking for men. Men who can fight. Men who can stand. Men who can look millions in the eye and say, I cannot be bought. Men who can look sexual immorality in the eye and say, I cannot be bought. One of the things I'm afraid of now is that every young man I seem to see has this strange spirit of ambition. He wants to be something by all means. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I don't know who told us that you cannot be invisible and yet fulfill destiny. I don't know who told us. So the average young person is afraid of being hidden. There's ambition lurking in his heart, lurking in her heart somewhere. He will do everything right. But when it comes to those matters, God will say, Kai, I can't go with this one like this. My brothers and sisters, you don't know how important it is to God when it comes to the matter of destiny, that your heart has a pure motive. You don't know how important it is. A pure motive. Because if you don't have a pure motive, my brother, in the thick of battle, you will abandon the battle. You will run away from the war. God promised that there will be persecution. He promised that there will be trouble. I sat in church for years. Preachers didn't come to tell us that you will fight. Oh, there were two extremes. One extreme didn't know there was a fight at all. The other extreme, all they were fighting about was to advance their own comfort. Anybody troubling my destiny? Anybody who don't say I should marry? So everything was to guarantee that they were comfortable. They never thought that there was something happening between kingdoms, and man is the key. So on the one hand, they are not fighting at all. On the other hand, everything they are fighting for is like these men, to advance their own agenda. So whether the agenda of God is succeeding or failing, they didn't bother. Just make sure that anybody troubling my destiny dies. What God wants to do in their generation does not matter. Just make sure that anywhere that I need to get a breakthrough, whoever is standing as a gatekeeper dies. So in my city, you have strange programs. Grace for visa. Who tied this goat? My blood is bitter. Because we think that the essence of the warfare is to entrench ourselves in comfort in the visible realm. You think what Satan is after is your car. You are a joker. The reason he will fight your academics is because he knows that if he touches it, you can lose concentration. And on the basis of that, you will become ineffective in the hand of God. So he will go there. When he finds that you have become such a creature that if he touches it, you just enter into your office and face front. That as you do business with God, if a man's ways pleases the Lord, oh my God. I used to hear our father in the Lord say, the first time I started listening to him, a witch cannot kill me. I said, what kind of thing is this? What kind? The first time I heard it in a message, I said, how does a man talk with such confidence? It's not that he's ignoring the warfare. It's that he is facing what is important. If you keep your eyes on the prize, he will give his angels charge. It's a reality. I will teach on spiritual warfare in this weekend, so you don't think that I am saying it does not exist. What I'm saying to you is that there is a way to fight that warfare. The way to fight it is with knowledge. It's with knowledge. We don't just run and start to say, somebody is troubling my life. I would rather spend 10 hours to find out, oh God, what is the mystery behind this? When I find that mystery, then I know which weapon to wield. I know which weapon to wield. I can talk like this because I have been forged in the fires. You see me? Satan thought that I would die, that I would be a non-entity. I remember I went to beg one of my uncles for money. And he looked at me and said, share your money. My mother was a senior, she retired as a senior pastor in one of the denominations. And share your mother is giving money to church, you will suffer. I remember tears fell from my eyes. He took new 20 naira note. It should be about 2,000 or so, and flung it in my direction. And I left the office. It was at Agidingbi in Lagos. And I sat in the cab. Tears fell from my eyes. I said, God, I won't beg a man again. If you cannot make me what you want to make me, I will die like this. And I'm not ashamed to say you will allow me die like this. I can tell you for free that even if I stop moving, for the next 15 years, if I stop now, his children can't catch me. That's how far. That's how far God shifted me. So don't just look and don't be deceived that I'm talking because my life has always been comfortable. No. I show you the way to win. The reason Satan seems to be doing doing as if he's something mighty. I'm not saying Satan is not powerful. He is. But the truth, the reality is that he's not as powerful as God. He is. But the reason it looks as if there's something he has that is giving him an advantage is that his own men, they serve him with all that they have. But God's men are easily discouraged, easily broken. You can go to a meeting and see somebody crying. Waiting happen. No money for school fees. And yet, by the time you check, their prayer life has died. We've not seen that same intensity for the things that hang upon the heart of God. You have a prayer life, you have a prayer life. When last did God come and share a burden about a nation with you? When last? When last did he come to you and say, listen, bro, my son, there's something I want to do in Canada, and you are the one I trust to stand in the gap. When last? When last did God share a burden, something dear to him with you? When last? I love God. I love God. I love God. Let me tell you what God does with men that love him. He shares his burdens. The way we have defined the love of God has been with goods. But I've been around long enough to know that when God loves you, if he loves you, oh my God, you will hear the cries of Macedonia. He will call you to places where he doesn't invite every other man. He only invites lovers there because he knows that the heart of a lover has a pure motive. God or nothing else. Give me money, I don't care. Don't give me money, I don't care. My commitment, my responses, my consistency is not because of something I want to get. I am fascinated by the one whom my heart loves. You know, the average Christian is waiting to die so that they can go to heaven and walk on the streets of gold. Some of us want to die and go to heaven so that we can see the one who has been in the shadows. We want to see him as he is. The one whom we only heard his whispers. Whom once in a while, he brings us into the environment where we see his light. We want to see him as he is. That our hearts might rejoice. That all that we suffered was not in vain. So you will hear great men say that to be absent from the body is not to walk the streets of gold, it's to be present with the Lord. To be present with the Lord. These dual identity people, someone looking at them from the outside, we say they are committed to the cause of God. But careful scrutiny will show that Satan had promised them a reward. So while they will not do this one, they were willing to kill an innocent man. For you, it might not be an innocent man. What is it that you are willing to kill? What is it? Bro, I assure you, you really don't know what you are capable of until you are given opportunity. Some people have not done certain things, not because they can't do it and they won't do it. It's because they've not been given opportunity. I was in Kigali some weeks ago, and then I finished what I had to do that day, went into my room to rest. And then all of a sudden, around 9 p.m., I heard a knock on my door. I said, who know me for Rwanda again? Who they can't find me? So I got up, went to my door, and I saw a young lady. All sprawled, looking like sliced bread. I said, ah. I said, yes. He said, do you have anything you need? I want to come and help you if you have anything you need. I said, me, need. He came late. Satan came late. Not now. Not when I have walked with God to the level where God continues to tell me just a little more. Not now. That they couldn't try in Nigeria. They waited for me to. So that I will clean my mouth. You know when you eat sometimes, you clean your. If you stayed with roommates that refuse to contribute money for cooking. There's a secret technology you learn. Is chop and clean mouth. It's a technology. So everybody will go out in the morning. All the pots are facing down, clean. Because nobody wants to contribute. Then when you go out, you eat, load your belly. Then when you come back in the night, you take a corner and say, you don't chop? Say, They thought that I could just go there and there. The first thing I did was to call my wife. I said, see what happened now. I'm sure to the woman of God. She said, lock all the doors. Lock all the doors. Lock the doors. Lock. Make sure those doors are locked, young man. Ooh. You don't, I assure you, that the reason you have not done certain things is not because you don't want to. You have not yet been tempted. In the day that Satan presents his goods, we will know what it is that has been sitting on the table of your heart. And you know the warfare of Satan is very subtle. He knows that if he brings it as it is, the weakest amongst us will discern it. So we package it like a promotion. Package it like a breakthrough. Package it like an open door. It will take a man who is totally sold, who recognizes that what is in the balance is the souls of men.